Hey guys, today I want to take a look at the Pinnacle, Gambit, and Vanguard weapons Breakneck and Loaded Question and answer the age-old question of, is it worth it? It's my absolute favorite question. First up, let's take a look at Breakneck, the Pinnacle Gambit weapon. It's an auto rifle with Rampage and Onslaught, which is a new perk similar to Desperado from Redrix's Broadsword, where for every stack of Rampage you have active, the rate of fire of the weapon increases up to Rampage times 3, but the impact of the weapon stays the same. I had a very strong feeling this weapon was going to be very good, and now that I've actually had a chance to use the weapon, those suspicions were confirmed. Breakneck is a fantastic auto rifle, and I would recommend Rampage Spec or Major Spec as a mod for the gun. Probably going to go with Rampage Spec, but either one's fine. Auto rifles aren't the hottest thing right now, but outside of a top tier roll auto rifle, Outlaw Rampage, Outlaw Kill Clip, you're not doing much better than this in terms of a roll. And you can negate the potential loss of your Rampage stacks when you reload via reload speed bonuses on your gloves or by using Rampage Spec. Now, auto rifles are good in most PvE content, but for those times where you need that little bit of extra range, Breakneck is not going to be able to do much for you since, well, it's an auto rifle after all. If you're not able to build up Rampage stacks, this will literally just be a default auto rifle. It is a workhorse kind of weapon, but even more so since you need multiple kills for it to really start to ramp up. It's not like Kill Clip where you can get one and be good to go. This means in group activities, you might be fighting for kills and thus might not see the full potential of the weapon. Obviously, in solo play, this thing is going to shred everything around you as Rampage weapons normally do. The gun works fine in Last Wish, most engagements are well within auto rifle ranges, but in Scourge of the Past, I would not recommend it for the second part of the final boss fight, because you're not really fighting that many adds to begin with, and the ones that you are killing are very far away, and Breakneck is not going to work there. In PvP, I'd say you should probably use something else. The amount of times you're going to get this to wind up to speed is very small. In Gambit, well, this weapon was made specifically for Gambit, and shocker, it's really good in Gambit. Perfect auto rifle ranges, tons of enemies to kill. Every class has a way to auto-reload the weapon in some capacity. It works very well. I can say with a lot of confidence that if you still don't have a god roll weapon, that Breakneck is gonna work out for you. The only problem is that you need to play 40 games of Gambit in order to get it, and if you're by yourself, that can feel like a slog. Loaded Question is the Vanguard Pinnacle weapon, a fusion rifle, where when your battery, aka magazine, is full, you deal additional damage and your targets explode if killed. There's also some overpenetration with the beam. It also has auto-reloading holster, which procs pretty quickly after swapping away. It's only a couple of seconds. Pretty strong function, pretty strong perk effect. The only issue is that the rest of the magazine is a normal fusion rifle. So you really need to stick to the playstyle that the weapon sets up for you in order to make good use out of it. That playstyle is find a big target or big group of enemies, shoot once or twice, and then put it away. It doesn't need to be put away for very long, but there's a lot of swapping that needs to happen if you want to maximize the perk effect, and some people might find that tedious. For example, whenever I swap to a fusion rifle or any other gun, I like to keep it out for a few shots, even if it doesn't really make sense to, because it's just more satisfying to me to pop a few shots as opposed to just one. I've been toying around with the Curated Scourge of the Past fusion rifle, and that fits my playstyle much more than Loaded Question does, because the Curated roll has Rampage, which means it's good to keep out for a little while to stack Rampage up. I don't think this is a weapon that you need to go intentionally grind for. It should be something that you just kind of do in the background as you play or do your weekly strikes or whatever. It doesn't have that it factor that makes it super enticing to use, at least to me. Again, it's good. It's probably one of the top fusion rifle choices available, but not in a game-breakingly good enough way that you need to go bust out 40 strikes right now. Fusion rifles in general have just been kind of stale in Destiny 2, and I feel like that's largely due to the perk selection and shotguns. The new raid fusion, Tempered Dynamo, the one from Scourge, has the curated role of backup plan and rampage, which is probably as good as it's getting on a fusion rifle for the most part in terms of PvE slaying capabilities. But fusion rifles just don't really seem to have those sexy perks that other weapons can chase to make them more sought after. High rate of fire shotguns tend to get the same job done as a fusion rifle can, and full auto style shotguns are everywhere, so it's not really that difficult to get one. Shotguns might use a bit more ammo to get said job done, but proportional to how much ammo they can hold, it's about the same. Not to mention, shotguns are a lower skill PvE weapon compared to using fusion rifles. You can just spray things down, and missing a shot is way more forgiving than missing a shot with a fusion. When the Ikelos shotgun had trench barrel in its unnerfed form, there was almost no reason to use any other shotgun in PvE, much less a fusion rifle. Sure, trench barrel is nerfed now, but even in its nerfed form, it's still a really good perk that kills most targets in the 3 shots that you get, and it's available on more than just the Ikelos shotgun now. What perks do fusion rifles have to compete with something like trench barrel on a full auto shotgun? Kill clip? Fusion rifles need some perks to make them more interesting picks, or different kinds of functions altogether, or something to make them more enticing of a pick to get some of the market back from shotguns. Linear fusions are different. 1000 Voices is different. Sleeper is sort of different. The new exotic Black Armory fusion rifle is different. But I'd like to see default fusions come into the limelight in PvE. In PvP, I think they're sort of underrated, under the radar, but again, they're a very unforgiving, higher skill weapon than shotguns are. It's almost both a proactive and reactive weapon. Proactive to anticipate people with shotguns running at you, and reactive to try to kill people with shotguns running at you. They're just tough to use. And before anyone comes in talking about Telesto, I'm talking about the traditional fusion rifles, not Telesto. Anyway, that's what I got on the Pinnacle weapons. Sorry, this should have came out way sooner than it did. I only recently got the time to actually mess around with the weapons and confirm how I felt about them. Also, Bungie, let's make these Pinnacle weapons account-based, not character-based. I feel like we're going through a lot of that account versus character stuff right now. Let's do account-based. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.